to Tech Fever, Play Everything's weekly tech podcast right here on youtube.com/Play Everything, where we talk about all the tech news of the week, everything from smart home to home theater to AI and robots. Alongside me today, as always, is my co-host, Kevin Coello.
What's up, dude?
I'm good. I
didn't ask you anywhere.
Chugging along. We went from Best Buy. We just came from Best Buy.
We did.
Took a little trip. Look at the smart locks.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
If you want to get a question read on air, you can go ahead and send it to techfeverpodcast@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And most importantly, on the podcast services, Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, all of them. Go ahead and leave a
give us all the stars.
Yeah, and some stars.
Yeah.
So that helps us out because us in the algorithm.
Kevin,
you
want to be in the algorithm.
You do.
Not out of it. That's bad.
Anything that's not in the news kind of catch your eye this week in terms of the tech at all? Or
no.
Anything new that you're playing with?
No, I wasn't exploring around too
thinking
much.
about picking up one of those bad boys.
Oh, yeah?
Fossils, $100.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's for the sport. I haven't looked at it too much.
I mean, it's...
what kind of band does it have?
It's like it's a sport band.
Can you remove it?
I do not know that.
Okay.
But that doesn't bother me that much.
Because here's the thing.
Because I'm okay with the sport
This band that I have on there, when I originally bought it, had leather bands. And because it's the 22 millimeter one, I was able to remove it and replace it with my movement one.
I'm sure you would be able to. I feel like that's kind of the standard.
Some of them don't because they integrate the antennas into them.
Oh.
Yeah. But that's usually when they've got like the option to put in a little SIM card.
Got it. Yeah, like the complete wireless ones.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, I mean, $100 ain't bad for a smart watch.
$100 is not bad,
Yeah,
and I swear by these Fossil watches. I think that they're fantastic. This is the third one I've owned, maybe second one I've owned. Fossil G Watch R. No, that was. I think it's the second one I've owned. Generation 3 was the.
Was your last
original
one? I thought that one was a no. I don't know why I was about to say.
My last one was the.
Remember the Pebble?
No, I never owned a Pebble.
It was like the first smartwatch ever.
Yeah. No, it was cool. It was a great idea. It wasn't there.
No,
a little old screen. No, but this is the second one. This is the Fossil Q Explorer Generation 5, and my previous one was the Generation 3, which was a great watch, but it didn't have, what is it, the heart rate monitor? Mm-hmm. And it also didn't have
Is it AKG heart rate monitor? Do you know? If that's the one that you have, because that's like the real heart rate monitor.
I have no idea. It's a green light that flashes. Yeah.
Fancy.
Right? It also, and this is actually the reason why I decided to upgrade this, and the fact that I dropped my watch, and it had a wireless charger on the back, and it was glass, and that shattered.
That's unfortunate.
It was really sad.
Can't put that on.
But no, you still can. My little brother uses this in mine. So the real reason I got this guy is because the NFC chip.
Yeah, for the pay.
Yeah,
you have to use Fossil Pay because all these fucking companies want to use their own pay.
No, Google Pay on
See,
this guy.
Fitbit Pay, infuriating. Just give me
this has got Google
like
Pay.
An Apple or I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
we're all good.
I'm saying like
everything's
Fitbit,
good.
Though, you know?
Yeah,
kind of infuriating. Isn't that infuriating?
I don't like the Fitbit watches.
And there's like Samsung. Can't there just be an Android?
I like my watch to look like a watch. Now the ring around here, on the little little faceplate, is smooth. The last one I had little divots with the lines and stuff, and that looked. People couldn't tell it was a watch. Remember we went to watch Chappelle, and the dude was like, because I was like, do I have to take this off? And he's like, oh, it's a smartwatch, and I was like, yeah.
He's like, oh, thank God, this is my job.
That's close.
Could have recorded everything.
You can control certain features from a lot of them.
That's cool. I mean,
one of my favorite apps that I have that I don't really have a good way of showing you guys, but I don't have it set up right now, but I press a button and it accesses the camera on the back or front. So I can shove this into things and see behind stuff whenever I need to, and then it'll have the display on my actual watch.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really rad.
That's
and
cool.
It's just one of those things that's like, how often do you need that?
You'd
be surprised how often I personally need it. The amount of times where it's like, I don't know where this HDMI, if it's flipped this way or that way, and I go in there like that, and it's like, oh, it's flipped that way, so I'll turn it, and then it works. It works, yeah.
Innovative.
Yeah.
Getting back to my pay argument that I was making, though, because I do think this is
no,
a real
I
problem.
understand. Samsung Pay and all these other stupid pays and Apple Pay. I hate going to a store and they're like, oh, Apple Pay? And it's like, yeah, sure. Because I know that any place that takes Apple Pay will also take Google Pay.
Yeah.
Or
But yeah, or like, well, is that true? Because I remember there was one time, don't they have to integrate it to where like it accepts it? It's not just an
The
MC
thing
chat?
is, like, they have for most like POS services. They're like purchase places.
Yeah,
like
point of sale.
Yeah, that's what the POS is.
Yeah, I saw you looking for it.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, so most of them have both Apple and Google integrated, but it's just the default is to say Apple Pay, and like I feel like an asshole
they were
being
first.
like, do you mean contactless?
They were first.
Yeah.
But-
or are you talking about tap? You know?
Be that guy.
So it's just I gotta be there and be like, yeah, Apple Pay.
Well, what I'm saying too is like it's the same thing with like the AirDrop version or whatever. It's just give me Android Pay, and then give me Apple Pay, and let's just call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need Fitbit Pay.
Yeah, nobody needs that.
It's infuriating. Because then, let's say if you have an Android phone, and then now you have to enter your card stuff again into the app.
But I think you can add that to Google Pay, and it works out fine.
Well, that's still to be seen, you know? Don't know if
But
that's
yeah,
confirmed.
these Fossil watches, $100. That's real cheap.
Yeah, so
real cheap. This
still
guy was
going
like
on.
$300.
You can pick it up at your local Best Buy or order online. Yeah, so I was really thinking about getting them. So just seeing that made me kind of remind me. I got to get on top of that. Well, you ready to talk some tech?
Oh, dude, tell me about the news.
So normally we would have had the Mobile World Congress going on.
Sure.
Where everybody comes together and LG shows
off
their
their
shit
dope
phones that they
phones.
don't want. And then sometimes Sony will come in and show off something cool every once in a while. But, of course, that was all delayed because of the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
So all these...
Serious shit, man.
Yeah. So, that's from what I hear, you know?
Yeah. State of emergency in San Francisco.
Is it? Is it
Yeah.
in SF now?
It's not NSF, but they're trying to get ahead of it.
Got it. I mean,
They just put out a memo.
from
It's
what I
like,
heard,
hey,
it's
you
going to be
should
gone
shave
by
your beard.
April.
You should shave your beard. It's scary for us with bearded men.
But is that really why?
Huh?
It contracts the beards?
No. They were saying for face masks, if you're wearing a face mask, it like it doesn't provide the adequate coverage. So like there was a memo that San Francisco put out being like, hey, maybe you should think about shaving your beard. And it's just one of those
It's
things.
the whole
like,
city of San
I'm
Francisco.
hiding
Every
my
male
fat behind
the
here.
whole male population in San Francisco has to shave their
beardless.
beards because they all have one. So essentially everybody's releasing their own like videos and like their own like not press. I mean, yeah, kind of press.
Yeah,
Sony
putting
did
out
press
their own little
conferences. Where essentially
directs.
the one that caught my eye, obviously TCL kind of showed their stuff a little bit earlier. But actually there's two that caught my eye that had a big showing was Sony. First of all, with the dumbest name to a lineup of any. I mean, Xbox is kind of almost there with the win on that one as well. But
but now I feel like Xbox has pivoted to Series X now, and that sounds fucking cool.
it's too much.
That sounds cool.
Xbox.
Xbox Series X.
And you can't just say Xbox X because they had the Xbox.
Eventually, it's gonna be Series X. That's all you're gonna say. Oh, you got a Series X? I got a Series X.
Dumb.
Yeah,
Don't like it. But
she's terrible. Get it? It's just- yeah.
dumb. But yeah, so the Xperia 1.2 and the Xperia 5.2, they kind of showed off here. Basically, there's
I'm sorry. Let's focus for a second on the name.
Yeah, it's a bad name.
Xperia 1 has been their name for the Xperia phones.
Just the
previous
last generation,
right?
yeah. The
Well,
ones that I want, the one that I've raved and you raved about that I really want.
Beautiful fucking phone. So they were like, all right, you know what's good? Let's call it the Xperia 1 2.
Which is, it sounds like 1.2, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds kind of cool, but then the 5.2, you're like, I don't understand this naming at all. Like, call it X or Z or something, you know?
Or
1X.
just call it anything else.
Yeah. I mean, or the Xperia 2.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
That kind of actually makes
And the
sense,
Xperia 6. I get that gets confusing. But who cares?
It's, I mean, they already threw it out.
The Xperia 2 and the Xperia 10. Done. You know?
Smart idea.
Yeah, there you go.
10's higher than 2, though. Which they didn't
5
think
is
about
higher
with
than
it.
1.
5 and 1.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. But aside from the bad naming, I mean, basically this is gradual improvements from the last Xperia, which again, from this, I'm going to get the old phone. The only thing I'm missing out on, it sounds like, is wireless charging for the States. So they will have 5G on it in the European versions, which, again, there's no release date for the U.S. versions of this. Usually comes much later.
Well, I'm sorry. This is a leak, or they actually put this out?
This is announced.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not for the American.
Yeah, not for the American versions. Now, just getting into some of the specs, it has the triple 12-megapixel camera, which, again, kind of seems lackluster with especially Samsung coming out with the 108-megapixel smartphone camera. But you can do some really cool stuff on it, which it basically added a Photo Pro app, which is basically one of their built-on apps, which isn't trash.
Phone. It's a good-looking phone.
Typically, we have the Cinema Pro app on it, which is basically integrates all the movie essential features that you get on like their A series in terms of all their mirrorless cameras, which is really cool. I don't know if you played around with it when you had it briefly, where you can open it up, you can actually control aperture, you can control like frames per second, and it has a dedicated
and like the video
camera
looks
button.
so good.
Yeah,
that it recorded.
Mm-hmm. And again,
God, look at that name,
Xperia 1 2. I mean, I guess
it's Roman numeral 1 It looks like Xperia 111.
Yeah, 111. I mean, if you're going, I guess if you get it, like if you would call it like the Mark II, you know, just kind of like
that would be a cool name.
Yeah. Because that's the same kind of font that they use for their cameras, where it's like the, Sony Alpha 2, Sony Alpha Mark III.
But then call it the Mark II, and then we'd be sitting here and being like, Mark II is a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
You know,
one little thing could completely change it. You don't even have to call it the Mark II. You could just call it 2 because, you know, on the A series you go, the A2.
Right.
You know? But yeah, would have made a lot more sense. But again, I don't think they really thought that far ahead on marketing on that. But
you think they should.
It adds a lot more in terms of actual picture capabilities this time around, in terms of actually having that complete control like you do on the A series. And what I really liked about the Xperia 1 is Sony's camera division was actually in on designing it and designing the interface and being able to control all that stuff, which I thought was really cool when I first heard it. So again, that's just them building upon what they already have. Introduces wireless charging, which the last one didn't have, which is
it's always fun to have, I think.
One of my only bummers because I'm gonna get the old one.
Why not get the new one then? It's new.
I mean, there's some other factors, especially in terms of pricing that I have on on the old one. But two, I don't really feel like it adds a whole lot to it. And again, I'm not saying pricing. I just can get it at a really good price. For the
what about that 5G network?
But you don't get it on the US ones.
Oh.
The US ones don't have 5G.
I thought they just hadn't said it. Okay.
No.
Cool,
so yeah, they don't have 5G. The European ones, the one will have it. 1 2 will have it. God, I hate that name. And then it also adds the headphone jack, which the old one didn't have. A little bit more of a beefed up processor. Yeah, I mean that's really it. A wider angle lens.
It does the 20 frames per second
for slow-mo.
Yeah.
So I mean that's cool as well, and it also does 4K recording at 60 frames per second and 2K recording at 120 frames per second, which is cool.
I'm sorry, it says burst mode. I don't think it's slow-mo. I think that's pictures then, right?
Yes. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Which is cool. I don't know if you ever messed around with
the
burst mode on
the Sony cameras have a really great burst mode. Like I love the Sony mirrorless cameras.
So do the
I'm
Fuji.
a big fan.
XT2, man. It's a great camera.
Yeah, but they use like the same processor.
I don't know.
Panasonic from Sony. Same thing with
Fuji?
Nokia. No, Nokia. Why did I say Nokia?
Nikon. Canon. Oh, Nikon.
Okay. Nikon uses the Sony sensors. And it will also boast the Snapdragon 865 processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 156 onboard storage, and a 4,000 milliamp battery.
Is that the highest processor, or is there an 875?
I don't know off the top of my head. I definitely don't think it's the highest processor, though. I definitely think there's one or two above it. But it is definitely higher than the last one. So obviously, in terms of speed and getting in and out of things, it's gonna be a lot faster. Which again, you see every year. Yeah. Every year, there's gonna be a better. Even on TVs, this year, from what I've seen, like the LG series, like on TVs, it's really like a better processor. But like, what's that really mean?
It's supposed to do audio way better.
I mean, the last one did audio way better.
They're getting better.
But that's what I'm saying. Is we're getting to the point where, again, phones are just gradual enhancements. So it's not enough for me to actually buy it. Oh, and then you also have the 360 reality audio built in.
Right. Pretty cool, man.
Cool. I guess with this thing nobody uses that Sony is also trying to really push. But
here's the thing. You could use that feature.
Yeah, you could use it.
No, I mean you specifically. Like you could edit a video and then have all the audio tracks there,
and nobody would hear it.
No,
in 360.
you can. Oh,
You have to have a device or something that plays 360.
But doesn't that translate to just different tracks? So you could set one to left, one to right, one to back.
I think you have to have something that's able to play it.
That's upsetting.
Which is why I don't know, but I mean that's why it says it can do it. Like it's announced that it comes with it built in to where it can decode that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have something that's able to decode that, which makes it a processing issue, which means not many things have it because it's Sony.
Yeah.
Right. Which I'm sure like their headphones would be able to, or I'm sure you could plug in their headphones into it and actually utilize it, things like that, which is cool. But obviously,
it's like when they came out, didn't they come out with it? Well, I remember when 3D phones were like a thing for a year and a half.
No,
you don't remember that?
I don't remember the 3D phone.
Whoa,
not at all.
You're so young.
Yeah. No, I mean I so niche. You know, and I've been such an Apple guy. It's like I haven't really been involved in the phone ecosystem like you have, where you kind of
it used that passive 3D stuff, which is really cool.
Kind of like the 3D, like the 3DS.
Yeah, just like the 3DS. And like very few phones came out with it. It was cool though. It was cool, and like my buddy had one. It was a Sony one, and I would play around with it.
They tried everything. Sony really tries to throw whatever.
Well, I think it's because they're so small in the market. They want to do something that hits hard and is a big impact, but I kind of feel like a lot of it feels reactionary.
Well, here's the thing. I think they actually found something that works. Like, hey,
with their
people love our cameras.
Yeah.
So even though we don't have the 108 megapixel camera, it's like
interesting. I've seen with 12. I feel like they could have gone with higher megapixel count, but if they have the software to back it up,
like realistically, I mean, think about it, and it's about the metadata it captures too, right? Whereas like in post, where a lot of photographers will take their pictures, that's what the Sony mirrorless cameras do so well, is it captures significantly more metadata than anybody else, so you have a lot more to play with in post. So that again, if that's the case with the phones, which again having Sony's camera division actually working on the camera aspects of the phone, I'm sure that's the case. So you'll have a lot more to play with, which is where that Photo Pro mode comes into, to where you can actually edit pictures. Again, you can take a great picture with a not a full frame camera. You can put it into Photoshop. It's not necessarily the quality or of the sensor, how big the sensor is, right? Because you can take good photos with it.
Right.
So I think that's where they're kind of coming into play, is cut down costs so you can get in lower than everybody, which doesn't necessarily seem like the case. But, I mean, I'm sure it would be expensive.
Did we talk about how much it costs?
No, not yet. So
sorry.
No. The price for the European I want to say audience, but that's not right. Market, that's it. Is 1,199 euros.
Okay.
Which translates roughly into $1,300 US.
Now they didn't announce the US prices?
No, because it's not. They don't know when it's coming to the US market, which Sony usually does. They'll usually hit European because it's a much bigger market base for them out there than it is in the US.
Got it.
Because US is so tiny, everybody has an iPhone out here.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm more sold on it getting the old one, but again, if there was not the old one to get, I'd probably get the new one. I mean, $949 I think is the retail price, maybe less.
I think maybe a little bit less.
No, I think it's $949.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
God, it's a beautiful phone.
Yeah, so
I mean, I hope you get it because it's
fingerprint reader's still the same on the side.
Yeah, on the side, which is cool. Like using it, I had it for like 2 days because it doesn't work with Sprint, which is a heartbreaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Spoilers. This is not going to work with Sprint.
Wow.
So,
well, I don't know why that's the thing. I want to look into it someday.
There's GSM and then CDM.
No, but it was an unlocked phone. It had both access to both networks. It's just still doesn't work with Sprint. Yeah. I looked into it.
Just didn't pay for the
I don't know. It's upsetting. But yeah, the fingerprint scanner on the side there, it's so thin, but it still had no problem picking me up most times.
Did you try it on different angles?
Yeah.
And it still worked?
Different fingers too, because you can program multiple fingers. So like if I picked it up like this, which sometimes I do, it'll unlock and then I can,
Look, if you're looking for an alternative
flippy flap
from Apple and Samsung, I think this is a great alternative. I really think they do a lot of cool things like the aspect ratio, the beautiful OLED screen, the camera button, the camera features, where it's like, awesome. Samsung has this awesome 108 megapixel camera, but how much control do you have over it? Not a ton. I mean, you have a little bit of control, but you don't have a ton. You have the different settings that they also have, and you can play with them a little bit. But like I said, it's not a camera company working on the settings, so you can't get as much as you probably can get out of these 3 12 megapixel cameras. And then like iPhone, right? Great great camera. You don't really have any control over that one. So that's kind of how they're kind of separating themselves. And then again with the entertainment, with the 360 audio, and then the ultra widescreen aspect ratio. I don't know. Very cool showing from Sony. They also did announce, or they teased, I don't know if you saw this, the Xperia 1 Pro, which is basically going to be the 5G one, and it's meant to be a companion app or a companion device to video production.
That's cool.
Did you look at into this at all? It's very, very cool. So it's basically what Red couldn't. No, I did. Right here.
Oh, you did? All right, then I heard it.
Yeah. No. So essentially with the Xperia Pro, which again is, they're not sure if they're going to sell it to the consumer market. But that's what we saw.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine though, like it being successful just at the not the like production level.
I mean, you saw the NFL use it for the wireless broadcasting. That's essentially what it was.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
they had them hooked up to their little device.
Correct. So you can actually use it as a reference monitor. You can use it as like almost like a recording device, like a Ninja.
Yeah.
And it will have HDMI, like you can plug HDMI in essentially, which is cool.
It must be a mini though. Right?
Well, yeah, I'm sure, but you can go fold a mini.
It's funny because it's like at that point, why not you just use USB-C, right?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, again, this is like rumored.
Yeah.
But I mean, they teased it, right?
Right.
Where it's like you can connect it, so we don't really know if it is a USB-C or not. And it allows you to do what like the NFL did, where you can actually broadcast
wireless
live
broadcasting,
through 5G. Which again, I feel like it's done a lot more than Red did with their camera. Where it was just kind of
they did nothing with it.
Yeah, they did nothing with it. Where like the fact
they
that
included the on the back of it, it had like contact points for. Eventually, they were gonna have a module you could slide into one of the
and those
Red
peeled
cameras.
right off, right?
Did they?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
It was like a sticker.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that. All I'm saying, like, but they never made the module that it like inserted into. Also, they have massive delays, and they came out a year later than they were supposed to, and all the specs were still from a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's like this old ass processor. Yeah.
Which is the issue with the phone.
So sad.
And yeah, did you see the video of the guy tearing it apart?
No.
It was like most of the stuff on it's like just decals.
Oh really?
Just scratch off like the little back end.
Is that the Jerry Rig everything?
Yeah, I think
channel.
So. Yeah,
I love that channel.
It's
channel.
good to see how durable stuff is.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to us. But so it's cool. I like it that you can use it as like the reference monitor. But again, I don't know how many people would buy it. Probably knuckleheads like us would. Maybe.
Doubt it.
But it's cool that you can attach it to the top of your camera. I could broadcast this live through 5G. Wild, man. Wild.
I think you can do that with your phone right now on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And then they did the same kind of upgrade with the Xperia 5. So, cool. Not a whole lot to talk about. Again, just little steps. And then speaking of Mobile World Congress, Huawei announces a slew of new products, which unfortunately includes a smart speaker, which is kind of terrifying coming from Huawei.
Hey, man.
Bugging your home, seriously, with the Huawei speaker.
All their devices have microphones on them, you know?
Yeah, I know, but like even that, it's just you're having.
But the thing is, they're not coming to America, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. So they announced a smart speaker. They announced something that is basically a iPad Pro called the MateBook. No, not the MateBook. I had the wrong naming there. I forgot what. I have to look that up.
Mate X Foldable?
No, the Mate X XS Foldable is basically the update to their folding phone.
I think you're talking MateBook X Pro. God, naming conventions are so
bad
interesting.
No, the MateBook X Pro is like their MacBook ripoff.
Ah, I see.
So I put the wrong name in there, so I do apologize. Oh, MatePad Pro. That's what it's called. So they announced that, where it's basically a iPad Pro knockoff. Great. Which I think is interesting. That they're really ramping up on all the devices, just like an Apple would, in terms of like trying to get as much out there, trying to diversify the more than just phones. So you got that knockoff, and then like I said, the iteration on the foldable phone is basically more durable, still a plastic screen. And the reason again I added this is just because I love their foldable phone. Like that's one thing where it's just a bummer that I can't get or use or have it be useful in any way, because their foldable phone is so beautiful. Have you seen pictures of it?
No.
Where it's
yeah, I have.
when you flip it over, that whole front screen is basically a phone. Like how it should be. It's not like a tiny like little piece of the screen.
How you should do it.
Yeah, it looks like a full-fledged phone when it's when it's not folded, or when it is folded, and then when you unfold it, it's like just
it's
massive.
just a full-blown tablet.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then, like I said, the smart speaker, which is interesting. Not a ton of jump in specs compared to the last one. With the MatePad Pro, you're looking at a 2560 by 1600 resolution. You can split up the tasks up to 3 tasks. Again, a lot of the general stuff that we've seen.
Stuff that you're used to now.
A lot of stuff that you see in products, they just kind of take and then they put into their stuff. So again, I thought it was interesting. We're never going to get it in America anytime soon. Again, just interesting that they have... Again, with the interesting.
Good design on it though. I'm looking at it right now. The white one looks so sleek.
Yeah, no, it looks solid, and for the people who actually had hands on with it as well, like it's a solid product. The aluminum bezel for the Mate Pad Pro, and then
they do a good job imitating other like companies' designs. Because Tim got a laptop that it looks very similar to the like the Air series laptops. Okay. Where it's like super tiny and thin. Huawei one, and it's really good construction quality.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is they do the design so right. Like I think they do design better than most of the companies out there doing it, especially with the foldable stuff, and we just can't get it. And there's a lot of problems with them, which is upsetting.
Hopefully they figure it out soon.
I mean, even if they do, I don't know if I would get one. Just because, like, I don't know what information is going to the Chinese government.
Looking at your information. You're just a blip in their metadata.
I don't know.
I know
about that. I don't know how much you're.
I know it. They're just
Chinese
like,
intelligence looking into us.
This Hayward kid looks a lot of porn. Watches a lot of porn.
Surprising amount. Speaking of surprising, Apple to start using internally developed processors in the next Mac lineup, as soon as the next 12 to 18 months. So again, a rumor which has been leaked from, where is that group? So basically, Apple may release its very first ARM-based laptop without Intel processor as soon as next year, according to reputable KGI securities analyst Ming-Chi Kuo. Who often correctly predicts Apple trends before they take shape, says the new Mac is coming sometime between the next 12 to 18 months and will feature an in-house developed processor, not by Intel.
Always interesting in the sense that, like, when Apple, a company that I'm not a big fan of because I hate their user interface on all their products, with the exception of the iPad. I don't like it, but I'll.
The iPad's the same one as the iPhone.
I know, it's frustrating.
So,
I mean,
so you kind of like the iPhone.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's the only. It's the best place to read comics. That's why I have an iPad. But what they do really well is they design pieces that fit together in a way that, like, they maximize, like they minimize like battery usage and maximize output. They tend to get a little hot with some of their.
Sometimes, I do. Even on their phones, sometimes I'm like, this is really hot, just depending on the extensive.
But they can really, because they're doing everything in house, they can really, really push how hard or how like effective these things are.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see like what comes from it, but that also means that they can set the price for whatever they want, and people can't compare it to other stuff.
They already do, though.
No, I know. I'm just saying this will further that, where it's like now they can't be like, oh. I can't even.
A fully spec'd out MacBook is
absurd.
Like $5,000.
No, fully spec'd out?
Yeah, it's like $5,000.
You need to spec them out.
64 gigabytes?
No, they're like $15,000. A fully spec'd out?
Oh, I'm just looking at like the ones that you can like order on. Well, you can spec them out on Best Buy. No, it's like $5,000. 32 gigabytes of RAM or 64 gigabytes of RAM.
I'm thinking the
processor.
Computer.
That's the actual.
It's absurd.
Yeah, $5,000. And then you can get the same thing on a gaming PC for like half the price.
Yeah.
But again, you don't get the battery life. You don't get all the nice Apple ecosystem, which again, that's what they charge the premium for. And the build. MacBooks feel so good.
Oh, yeah.
They're phenomenal builds.
Huawei had nailed it.
Yeah, they really nailed the design. But what I like about this, I think this is the best for Apple because, like you said, they're able to utilize it a lot more than they would like an Intel processor, which means...
Didn't they do something similar to this with one of their Airs?
They make... No, not their Airs, but all the iPads and the iPhones have their own processor.
I thought there was an Air that was using one of these ARM chips, and people were really upset.
No.
Because it was like basically the same thing within a phone.
No.
Huh?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I shouldn't just say no outright.
No, it's fine. I guess I'm wrong and stupid. Tumbo
No,
can look it up.
Let us know in the comments down below. Or if Tumbo looks up.
Oh, there's an ant right there.
Oh, there's an ant. Little guy.
There was.
You crushed him. It's from the donuts that we had yesterday.
You had donuts? Was that what was in the
bag?
bag?
We ate the chicken, Popeye's chicken donut sandwich. Great.
God,
yesterday on Lightyear.
Invite
only. Check it out.
There it is.
Yeah. Sorry, if Apple has used
alive.
their own internal processor on a MacBook Air?
Yeah. He's got a computer in front of him. Why is he using his phone?
I don't know. That's he does that. It's all right. You can't call him out. You gotta love Tumbo. But yeah, so basically, I feel like this would help with things like running things like OBS a lot better and just a slew of things and issues.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I feel like Intel is a known product that makes decent to good chips, and like this is gonna be.
Well, even that, I take AMD. Like, AMD integrates things like OBS a lot better than Intel.
Well, the Ryzen chips are crazy.
Yeah. And so, like, that's the one
price
thing
points are awesome.
I wonder if...
But I can't...
If Apple could do this.
My loyalty to companies is so intense.
I know, me too.
It upsets me so much. Like, I'm a blue chip boy, you know what I mean?
But the Ryzen processor is phenomenal. What was that, Tombo?
They use Intel.
So they always use Intel.
Apple uses.
He didn't know. He was looking up the wrong thing. Don't worry about it.
That's okay. No, I think Kevin's wrong. I don't think they've ever used that for their any kind of computer that they have. So very cool news. I don't know why you go to cool and interesting. I feel
Whatever.
like compa. I feel like compa.
You know what the worst thing you can do, man, is bring attention to it.
No, I know, but
and that's what you're doing.
Let me bring attention to it. I need to get better. But in terms of those words. What are your kind of thoughts on this?
Again, I think that I'm interested to see what the specs look like when it comes out in real people's hands. Like, I can't wait till Linus Tech gets their hands on it and puts out their graphs. God, I love their graphs. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through like when I bought the CPU for Andy's editing rig. Sitting there and being like, oh, where's the performance of this guy versus all the other? It's like, oh, this guy's winning. This guy's winning. And then the Ryzen chips were coming in a little bit under, even though they had bigger specs. And it's one of those things that's why I chose to go with that particular Intel. Yeah.
Well, particularly from what I've seen, is it does a lot better handling on like streaming and stuff. From what I've seen.
Because it's got so many of them cores.
Yeah, a lot of cores. On that processor.
Big old chips.
So again, I'm a big fan of Apple products. I'm thinking about I'm gonna be getting a laptop soon, maybe. I don't know.
So I'm always getting so much more.
I mean,
why a laptop?
Forever.
You got a great desktop.
Yeah, but
they do last. Like, there's no arguing they last forever.
Yeah.
Nick has had his laptop for 5 years now. But to be fair, I've had my Origin laptop for 5 years also.
Does it run as good as it did the day you got it?
No, but neither did his laptop.
I feel like every Apple product I've had,
his laptop was fucking overheating. The battery wouldn't hold a charge anymore. But he also pushes his laptops to the extremes, where he's doing massive After Effects projects, where the PS I Love You intro that is so complex. He did that completely on the laptop, and somehow it didn't overheat and kill itself.
That's crazy.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I'm saying is Apple. And again, a lot of people aren't going to be pushing them to the very
the
boundaries.
Limits.
Yeah, but I mean, creators the creator laptop is Apple, whether it be an iMac or a MacBook. So just seeing them,
that is
seeing how much farther, the fact that it could run even better with their processors,
Don't touch me.
is an exciting prospect. And again, as a big Apple fan, and again, it makes me want to be like, do I want to get the Intel one, or do I want to wait and see what theirs looks like?
Here is something that does concern me on that sense, is this is one more thing that is going to keep it from, what is it called? The right to repair that Apple has been fighting so hard for the last several years.
I, for one, don't think you should have a right to repair.
Why?
Just kidding. I just want to
okay,
piss you
I was hoping. Oh my God! There's another YouTube channel that I love where I can't remember his name. It's Rossman, I think, where he basically is fixing, like he owns a store in New York where he fixes different components, or he fixes laptops.
Yeah.
And a lot of ones he deals with are Apple ones where they're like, oh, I went to the Apple store and they're like, oh, you're gonna have to buy a new, like it's fucked. There's nothing we can do. You have to buy a whole new thing. And he'll go in there and be like, all right, so this is the issue right here. You can see that the wiring got like burned here because someone spilled water on it, and it like burned these things. So we correct it by doing this. And I've been following him for the last several years, and like, there's a big thing that's happening right now where they're trying to protect the right to repair your own things, but Apple hides all the information. So he has to get like the docs and stuff like illegally, or like buying
black market,
aftermarket, or not aftermarket, but like OEM parts is really difficult. And like he'll have his shit seized because like Apple's like, oh no, you can't do that. And like this is another scarier one now. They have a strong hold on this processor.
Yeah.
You know, their processors.
Yeah, and you would not be able to get it.
No, yeah.
Like,
I mean, those are all soldered in already also.
Yeah, but
I'm
at
just
the
saying
same
there
time,
are
it's like,
concerns
but,
there.
Yeah, but especially with like iPhones, I get it. But
Mhm.
like what we were just talking about with MacBooks, it's like they last a long time. So like,
Yeah,
it's
but
not like they're really
sometimes when things happen, like you spill your soda on it.
get that Apple Care. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Should have just done that.
Sure. Oh, man, I've thought that so many times, this damn phone. Not the Apple Care, but the Google whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you fixed that a lot. I think you spent just as much on repair for the screen.
Oh, if I fix this one, I'm up to like 70% of how much I paid for the phone, and it's just like, I guess I'm not going to fix it. Yeah, honestly, like the Bluetooth connectivity has been an issue, and Wi-Fi keeps cutting out on it too.
You going to go with Google again?
I don't know.
Because the Pixel 4 hype's died down.
Yeah, the Pixel 4 is not well received. My little brother actually just got it, and I've been playing around a little bit with it. I don't hate it. I do like the fingerprint option.
You are such a loyalist. It's funny because I'm the same way. And just
I can't help it. It's just one of those things. This is my ecosystem. You know what I mean? If I was holding off, I wore my broken watch for like a month and a half because like
made one?
Yeah, because there was the rumors with the the Made by Google event that was happening around that time. And I was like, oh, God, I really hope that, like, the rumor was they were going to announce a watch, and I'm ready to jump over. You know what I mean? I don't care what it looks like. I was going to get it. But they didn't announce shit. That's a disappointing event.
Such a sellout. Ready to sell out to Google anytime.
Yeah. Google you can buy me. It won't be that expensive.
Well, Kevin, we just talked some tech.
I have the fever.
I don't know. I don't know. I was trying something new, Tom, but I don't think it landed. At all. Well, because normally we'd have like the tech reviews. We don't have anything this week. Pick of the weeks. I don't think we really have anything this week. Sorry, it's a faster show than normal. But for the tech steals of the week, I didn't write anything down officially. But like I said last week, that watch, the sport watch of the Fossil, $99 right now. Great steal.
That's a good deal.
Go get one. Order it in. Yeah, great steal. And then again, it's about that time of the year where TVs are starting to go out and the new ones are starting to come in. So keep a very, very close eye on the TV market right now, because that's when you're going to be able to get really ridiculous steals on TVs that are like not the price that you bought them for normally, just because they're trying to get rid of them, trying to dump them off. So keep an eye out for that. Also with the Sony lineup, you're not going to be able to get that probably past this month of March, because their new models are coming out next week.
That's exciting.
So if you want one of the
New
old
TVs.
Sony TVs from the G series or even the 900F, now is the time to buy. Well, Kevin, thank you for joining me this week.
I got the fever.
It's not that part yet. It's not that part. I hate you so much. If you enjoyed the show, as always, go ahead and like, subscribe, share right down there in the comment section on YouTube. And again, leave us a review, rate us on podcast services. It really helps us out. If you have a question for Tech Fever, go ahead and send it in to techfeverpodcast@gmail.com. As always, I'm Mike Doherty. You can follow me at Cheeks_Junior. You can follow Kevin Coello at KindaFunnyKevin on Twitter, and you can watch his show, Screencast, sometime during the week, mostly on Fridays.
This week is on Friday, but I'm not on it for the first time ever.
Ooh, yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm Mike Doherty. This is Kevin Coello, and we got the fever.
What?
Why'd you have to say what?
Because I said it so many times earlier. So just cut there.
You're fine. I mean, what's cut here?
No, cut
Now.
there. When I said
We're
what?
cut right now.